It is not that to do bhakti you have to leave it all and go to the Himalayas. Prahlada was a king. Dhruva, Ambarisha, Prithu, Vibhishan, Yudhishthira. They were all great kings and also great saints. And then in the Bhakti Yug, Kabir was a Grihasti, Nanak was a Grihasti, Eknath, Narsi Mehta, etc., etc. Jayadeva, he wrote the Gita Govind. It is so highly respected. Every day in the temple of Lord Jagannath, the Gita Govind is chanted. Now Jayadeva was also in household life. So living in the household, how can you be spiritual? Vidyancha avidyancha yastad vedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya mritamashnute. Translation: by adopting both vidya and avidya in unison, material science and spiritual science. Expert spiritual seekers navigate the world with the help of material science and reach the eternal abode of God through spiritual science. A story is told of the Buddha that he was sitting for his spiritual practice and a monster called Suchiloma came. So Suchiloma's hairs were literally like needles. And he came and sat by the side of the Buddha. So the Buddha moved away. Suchiloma said, "You are not realized. You are feeling the pain. You are still affected by pain. You are not dheer. You should have borne the pain if you were enlightened." The Buddha said that would be stupidity. The body has its own dharma. It needs to be maintained. What use is it to allow you to hurt my body and make it sick, which is going to interfere with my spiritual work? So the Buddha taught the middle path, the path where you use both. Actually, Shree Krishna taught the same. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Aristotle, the Greek philosopher 2500 years ago, he was literally a contemporary of the Buddha. He also talked about the golden mean. In his book Nicomachean Ethics, he says you have to learn how to use different things to different extent. The body, to maintain it, you will need to understand food. Why? Because food will impact your body, it will impact your mind. The Chandogya Upanishad has the story of Uddalak and Shvetaketu. Uddalak said to Shvetaketu that food impacts the mind. So Shvetaketu said, "Gurudev, what is the connection between food and mind?" So Uddalak said that you stop eating for 15 days, keep a fast. He followed his Guru Agya. After 15 days, Guruji said, "Recite the Ved mantra that you had learnt." He could not remember anything. So Gurudev said, "All right, have a meal." Now all the memory came back. So he said, "Look, the food also impacts the mind. If you eat too much of chilies, you will not be able to control anger. If you want to control anger, you need to start right from there and get your chilies under control." So, the material science has its place. But the mantra is saying that alongside with living in the world, you can also practice spirituality. Which means that the world does not impede your bhakti. It is not that to do bhakti you have to leave it all and go to the Himalayas. Spirituality can be very well integrated in your worldly life. And that is why in Indian history there have been so many such saints who were in household. Prahlada was a king. Dhruva, Ambarisha, Prithu, Vibhishan, Yudhishthira. They were all great kings and also great saints. And then in the Bhakti Yuga, Kabir was a grihasti, Nanak was a grihasti, Eknath, Narsi Mehta, etc., etc. For Jayadeva, he wrote the Gita Govind. That Gita Govind which he has written, it is so highly respected. The story says that there was a Malin, a gardening lady. She used to recite the verses of the Gita Govind early morning when she would go to pluck the flowers. And Jagannath ji, to hear them, he would walk behind her. And the Bod Panda would be astonished when he would open the doors that how come Jagannath ji's cloth sometimes has got thorns stuck in it and sometimes something else. So he prayed for a resolution and Jagannath ji said that, that Malin, she recites Jayadeva's Gita Govind. It is so sweet that I can't resist. I go behind her and listen while she is chanting. Since then it became a rule. Every day in the temple of Lord Jagannath, the Gita Govind is chanted. Now Jayadeva was also in household life. So living in the household, how can you be spiritual? This is the principle of Karma Yoga. Karma plus Yoga. Which means with your body, you do karma. And with your mind, you practice spirituality. And that is the instruction of the Gita as well. Sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. Arjun, you do your worldly duty, yudhyacha. And with the mind, practice spirituality, mamanusmara. So when you do both of these together, you become a spiritualist while living in the world. In fact, Narad ji in his Bhakti Darshan, he has said, Lokopi Bhagavad Guna Shravana Kirtanat. Even in the world, you can practice bhakti by chanting, hearing, remembering. So, when you do that, you need to balance things out. You need to understand, so much of material science and so much of spiritual science. Everything will have to be calibrated. In the Western world, like you have the Panchatantra in India, you've got the Aesop fables here. So Aesop used to be asked, why do you go around playing with children, having a little gala time, etc.? And he explained that the stringed instrument, if the strings always remain tight, then they will get spoiled. So for some time you need to loosen them as well. Socrates said, don't become so serious in your life that you forget how to laugh. And don't laugh so much that you forget your gravity. So people need to calibrate how much of fun, how much of work. One Guruji was taking his followers on a pilgrimage and they were crossing the Yamuna. They had been to this place in Vrindavan, that place, and the followers were quite exhausted. Guruji asked for jalebi. Get me jalebi. The jalebi was arranged. Guruji took a few bites and said, give to everyone. Somebody said, Gurudev, you have desires for jalebis? He said, how will you understand a Guru's mind? You will understand from your level. I knew that the disciples needed a break. They could not sustain that spirituality through the day. They needed some downtime as well. Maharaj Ji, you see in his videos, he would permit the devotees to have great fun once in a while. And then wrap it all up back to the main thing, which is the practice of spirituality. So a little bit of downtime. Like how much of downtime? Nowadays, the consultants, they tell you that, the way to read, if you wish to study, you need a break. In fact, those who ask about eye strain, it's all about giving breaks. Why do the eyes get spoiled? It's not that you have been reading too many hours, but you've been reading without giving your eyes a break. If after every hour you just break it for 2 minutes and look at the sky, the strain will not build up. Likewise, your brain also is a machine. That is why before the age of 40, the world chess champions retire. They realize the brain is no longer as nimble as it was. But even as a little youngster, when you are reading, after 1 hour, you feel your brain is clogged. So what do? Do you force yourself? No, if I do anything else, I'll be guilty. Or you say, okay, take a 5-minute break to reset. And then again for 1 hour, I study at the best. So it's all about calibration. Every meal that you eat, you are calibrating. You have learned that, if I eat too much, it'll be an upset. But if I eat too little, then I'll be hungry before the next meal. So everywhere in life, you are calibrating. Likewise, material science and spiritual science must also be used in a calibrated manner.